Hey guys, Jeff here. Welcome to another Monday message. I get this question a lot, and that is, should couples live together before marriage? Basically, should they cohabitate? Should they move in together? And I find that interesting because obviously culture at large, this is something we're dealing with. No longer is kind of a ring the sign of the next step, but now it's kind of the key. It's like, do you want to move in with me is kind of seen even in a TV show I watched last week as kind of the next step or the peak of human relationship. Now, let me just first say before I move on to a few things, this is a sensitive topic because I know you guys watching might be in this situation. You might think it is okay. You might be struggling with maybe it isn't. You might be all across the board, but it's real people and real hearts and real lives. And so I want to talk sensitively, and I hope also there will be grace and compassion for me on the YouTube comments or in the conversation that'll happen from this. Now, there's a few different ways we can look at things. First, we can look at scripture. What does scripture say about our life and how does that bear weight on what we should do to answer this question? But also there's empirical evidence. And in researching this topic, I wanted to find that. I wanted to find what social scientists said and what people of that nature said. And I found some really crazy and fascinating things. I was actually surprised, but when you look at social scientists, I found studies going all the way back to the 80s. So basically even before I was born, there's people almost unanimously saying it actually leads to more divorces, it leads to more breakups, and it leads to a lot of more damage and hurt both for the children and for each other in the relationship. One study found that cohabitators, as they put it, have a hazard of disillusion, which is basically just their big way of saying that their probability of breaking up 46% higher than people who wait to move in with each other until they get married. We got a full stop right there. We have to stop right there. I mean, that alone is so intense in regards of statistics, almost 50% more likely. That means if someone came to me and Alyssa before we got married and said, hey, if you guys move in together, which of course we had that inclination, everyone has that inclination of you want to have those benefits basically before you go further in the relationship. And if someone said, hey, you have a 50% higher rate of it not working out if you move in together before marriage than if you do after, do you want to or do you not want to? Me and Alyssa would say to protect that relationship, of course not. And so here's the truth of the matter. Statistics actually speak against cohabitating. They do. So if you really love each other and care for each other, then you would want to line up with what people say and what statistics have found over and over again with thousands and dozens of thousands of couples that actually leads to more flourishing and more to your well-being. Here's a few more stats for you guys. 80% actually entirely end up breaking up either before they get married or in divorce soon after. 12% of couples that cohabitate, 12%, if they get married, last past 10 years. That means if you get married and you were cohabitating before, you only have a 1 in 10 chance of it actually working out. Now, I know the divorce statistics are really high, but man, that one is way higher than even the normal divorce statistics. Now, let me first say, I get it. I know there's multiple reasons why you might want to do it. It's easy economically, even starting out where maybe people don't want 2 apartments or 2 bills or 2 things, and so they say, hey, maybe we can come together and share the brunt of those responsibilities. I know maybe you saw your parents end in divorce, and so you think, hey, I want to share or test compatibility before I get into marriage, and on and on and on. But the hard part with that is cohabitation. What we don't realize is it's actually creating a framework of consumer-based relationship, which is the opposite of the key to success for a beautiful and flourishing relationship, which is covenant and the promise, and I'm not going anywhere no matter what happens because I love you. See, the hard part is the minute we start thinking of humans as cars, like testing them out either sexually, relationally, or intimately, or whatever capacity of kind of going for a test drive to see if it works, that actually we're not cars, so it leads to a huge amount of damage. We're not commodities, we're people and image bearers. And we were created to fully, in the covenant of marriage, give ourselves all to one person. Now, this is just kind of a sidetrack, but I was thinking in researching this video, a lot of people say, well, it's just, marriage is just a piece of paper, it's just a certificate, right? And I don't actually believe that, but back to you, if you do believe that, then my thing is, well, then why don't you go get it? If you have such a low view of marriage, of it just being a piece of paper, then what's the big holdup? Now, in regards to it starting off on the wrong foot, I read a really beautiful and amazing quote by Tim Keller when he was asked this question, and I'm just going to read it in full, even though I usually don't do that on video. In regards to cohabitating, he basically said, you start to identify as a dispenser of sexual goods and services, or maybe recreational goods and services, or maybe companionship goods and services. And if I think your products are a good deal for the price, which should be not high, then I will be very happy to stay with you. See, that's my answer to the question. He says, what about cohabitating? I actually think that having sex with somebody you're not married to is no preparation for having sex with someone you are married to. In fact, it teaches you all the wrong things, because when you're living with somebody who could walk away at any time, you're still in promotion and marketing phase. You have to be. You can't really be vulnerable. And I thought, man, that is deep. And then when his wife was asked the same question, she said, you can't truly know the depths of love, the love we were created for that we can barely even put into words when you still have the back door open, when it's just kind of testing out the waters, because the minute conflict happens, usually you just peace out or you're gone, and you cannot know the true depths of love because you have to have covenant and vulnerability mixed together to find that. And so hear me say, I get it. I get why we would want to. There's many different reasons, but the stats are not even on our side. And so might we be people who, if we really care about each other intimately in a relationship, say, I want to line ourselves up for the best future, for the best well-being, and for the best hope of anchoring ourselves together for the rest of life. See, because on the flip side, even though it's harder, I think, to not cohabitate and kind of be in your separate entities or your separate apartments and lives and jobs until the marriage covenant comes together, it actually leads to so much more joy. See, what you're doing is you're kind of building self-control, you're working on yourself, your demeanor, the things that maybe you still need to work through. And what happens is there's this beautiful season and an engagement that actually is really awesome because, like I said, you start to learn how to die to self, how to be self-controlled, how to say no, even though everything in your body and in your mind is saying yes. And see, the hard part about living together before marriage is it actually is saying, let's take all the benefits, but not have all the responsibility. And that is just a really poor way to live, because the actual responsibility, the weight of marriage, which is one of the most beautiful institutions in all of earth, in all of human history, the covenantal love that marriage is made of, that is the thing that actually gives the deepest sense of joy that we are all looking for. See, the beautiful thing about the marriage I have with Alyssa, even though we've been married 3 years, and I know this will grow more and more 10, 20, 30 years from now, is that we have that covenant, and so we both can understand, we can look at each other when it's hard, when it's really difficult, and we see all the nakedness of the other person, metaphorically speaking, their failures, their shortcomings, and we say, I still want you, I'm not going anywhere. And the minute two people do that, there's like this explosion of joy and intimacy and love that we were all looking for in the first place. Hey guys, thanks for watching. I know that was a tough video and I wanted to even cover more, but it was already getting really long. So I know this is not extensive, but I hope it encouraged you guys to maybe think deeply about your relationship, to maybe think about the situation you're in, and then again, make decisions that lead to the best fulfillment and flourishing for your relationship and also you individually. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to check out my free devotional, 2-week devotional over there. You can get it totally free in about 30 seconds on an iPhone, iPad, computer, or whatever. We got links down there also. Mine and Alyssa's e-courses, Power of the Psalms and Dig Into the Word, are also available, $20 off right now. You can get that over there or down there. Make sure to subscribe. Love you guys. Peace.